Right, so our ridge is up now and levelled. So now I've got to work out the distance from the top corner of the ridge to the outside corner of the floor joist. So the height, I don't know if you can see that, but the height from the floor to the top of the ridge is 31.98. The distance across is half of 5.5 metres, which is 22.50. But you've got to take off half of the ridge, which is 23 mil. So that makes the bottom of the triangle 22.27. We're not coming right to the bottom of that drop because the top of the floor joist is 100 mil up. So we've got to knock 100 mil off of that measurement, which means that part of the triangle is 3098. So to find that length, we have to take the square of that, multiply it by itself, in other words, add to that the square of that, and whatever total we get, we have to have the square root of it, and that gives us that length. So I've written that down over here. So the square of 3098 is 9597604. The square of 2227 is 4959529. If you add them two together, you get 14,557,133. You take the square root of that, you get 3815. So we will now take a tape measure and we'll measure from the top edge of the ridge down to there, and that should be 3815 if the ridge is in the centre. So if it doesn't quite work out, we'll move the ridge across and then we'll check the other side down to that floor joist, and then hopefully with the ridge in the centre, both those measurements will be 3815. Once we've done that, so let's write that in there, 3815. Once we've done that, we need to find that angle there, which is the best thing. I just had my finger over the video, didn't I? Sorry. Yeah, we need to find this angle up here. So we'll use the old Pythagoras' theorem. And we've got all three numbers, so we can do what we want. Let's go for, this is the whole thing I even remember it now from school. SOHCAHTOA. Sine is opposite over hypotenuse. Cosine is adjacent over hypotenuse. Tangent is opposite over adjacent. We've got all three of those. So if that's the angle, that's the hypotenuse, that's the adjacent, and that's the opposite. So we'll go the sine equals opposite, which is 2227, over the hypotenuse, which is 3815. Now I'm going to have to go off the film, work it out with a calculator. Right, back to the mathematics lesson. So the sine is the opposite over the hypotenuse. The opposite is 2227. The hypotenuse is 3815. Divide that into that, gives you 0.584. So on the calculator you go inverse sine, put in that number, and it gives you 35.7, which is that angle at the top there, 35.7. We'll round that up and call that 36. That's a 90 degree, which means that has to be 54 to add up to 180 degrees inside a triangle. So there you go, 54 degrees. I did work it out roughly the other day just by measuring on the inside of the ridge and taking a few guesses, and I worked it out at 55, so it's pretty jolly close. I did cut a rafter at 55, so we'll try that one in and see what happens. Exciting times. Here's the importance of checking everything. We checked the measurements. I worked out that the size was going to be 3815. We measured it and it was more like 4.2. Clearly made a mistake. I realised I'd took 100 mil off the height when I didn't need to. And half of 5.5 metres is not 2250, it's 2750. So I was 500 mil out on that measurement. So that makes the hypotenuse 4202. So to find the angle, sine is the opposite over the hypotenuse, so that becomes 2727 divided by 4.202, which equals 0.649, sine, which is the sine of 40 degrees. So if that angle's 40, this one's 90, that one must be 50. So our plumb cut is going to be 50 degrees, and our seat cut's going to be 40 degrees. It's actually a better angle than it was before, so that's nice. Oh. Measure 6 times, cut once. That's how it goes. Well, this is going to be one of, I think, about 60 of these that have got to be cut. The time I've done them, I'll probably be getting pretty good at it. Square line off there. Now our plumb cut is 50 degrees off that line. 50 degrees off there. Same on that side. And just complete the line to the other edge of the timber. Same on the other side. And then hopefully, when I put the square along the top edge, those 2 points will meet. Not bad. Not bad. Cutting these with a chainsaw. I've got a little chainsaw, fairly fine blade. I'm just cutting just on the waist side of the line, and then going back to the line with a little block plane. Seems to be doing quite a neat job. So, measurement we worked out earlier for that line is 4.202 metres. There. Square along across there. Plumb cut across there. That's the 50 degree. And then we're coming 100mm down that line. There. depth of the floor joist at that end, where the two are going to meet, and then we put a seat cut through that line. That's the 40 degree. And we're cutting that through there. Should we get that loaded onto the scaffold? That'll do for now. Get another one cut. I want to get 4 cutting up there so we can, one at the gable end and one at the end where I finish cutting the roof. Get a pair each side of the ridge, and then that's the ridge fixed in position, it can't come down then. Come on.
Left, right, up and down.
Huh?
Left, right.
In towards the house. I do. Oh, what am I talking about actually? Yeah, a bit more. It's a bit curved anyway. So the other thing we can do.
Is that now or not?
We can just. You've got it at the moment, haven't you? There's no panic. Where's the tape measure?
Alright.
If I get tape measure, it should be 600 centres off the other one.
You know, time.
Which way are you putting the tin block in? From this side?
Well, I was going to temporary nail it now.
Oh, good. I think 6-inch tin blocks are all over the top. That way. I've got 4-inch. Right, it's got to come for me 3 inches. Holy son of a bitch. It's got to be about there, I think. Let's try that again. Oh, come on. You're not under any stress now, are you? Got it? I'll run out of nails. Right, I need to put timber lock in the other end. Now I need to move the plate. I love the hammer. Yep. Huh?
What if you put your end in, I've got plain bones.
Just lift it across and not up yet, but just across and further in. Try and get to this end. We take that, undo that, so it drops a touch.
Yeah.
Might just make a difference, mightn't it? Yeah, timber lock it. From this side. Yeah. Always let them off the bottom a touch. That's a little bit low, isn't it? See that? Low.
Yeah.
Shows this.
Measure the length of the knee.
Let me just check before you put that in. Let me just check the bottom end. I can mark all the others off then now.
Have you done it?